Eminent philosopher Francis Bacon once said, "Knowledge is power." In the 21st century, in the midst of an explosion of technology, how can we promote the development of culture and pass on the legacy of human knowledge and civilization? In Taiwan, this question is being answered by Academia Sinica. A premier university, Academia Sinica is a modern research institution with a worldwide reputation and a proud tradition. As part of its ongoing research programs, the Taiwan E-Learning and Digital Archives Program, TELDAP, was established.
Hi, I'm Simon Lin. I'm responsible for the international collaboration of TELDAP, which stands for Taiwan E-Learning and Digital Archive Program.
My name is Lu Quan Li, the Minister of National Science Council in Taiwan. Taiwan has a very unique culture, which of course inherited Chinese culture, but also have the Western influences. And we also have the Aboriginal culture. So we have a Chinese culture, Western influence, and native culture, Aboriginal culture. And we have the advantage that, Taiwan did not suffer the damage caused by the so-called Cultural Revolution in mainland China. So we preserve the Chinese culture very well. So we start a national research program on digital archiving and e-learning. And I think this project turned out to be very successful.
TELDAP is a national program created about 10 years ago in order to meet the rapid progress of the internet ages and also the progress of digitization technology.
I'm Francis Wang, Vice President of Academia Sinica. So at the very beginning, we feel it's urgent to utilize this new technology, digitization, to preserve our cultural entity, artifacts.
TELDAP hopes to make cultural artifacts available and accessible to more people, while at the same time preserving them to pass on to future generations. In order to reach this goal, they are creating international research partnerships to utilize state-of-the-art imaging techniques.
My name is Brent Seals. I'm the director of the Vis Center at the University of Kentucky. I'm also a professor in the computer science department at the University of Kentucky. The development of digital collections in Taiwan has been really interesting, and in the last 10 years, the Taiwanese government has put forward a lot of funding to develop the digitization of collections.
The purpose is to combine the most updated technology with the most ancient artifact.
I see the TELDAP project to be particularly visionary, especially its emphasis on how to conserve things for the future and willingness to work with international partners.
While this tremendous effort is underway in Taiwan, on the other side of the world at the University of Kentucky, new technology is being developed which will help Academia Sinica reach their goals of preserving ancient documents while unlocking the knowledge contained in them.
When we started the project, we spent some time to develop and to investigate the potentialities and possibilities of different kind of scanning technology. But this only goes to where these sort of relatively mass-produced contents. But then you go to some particular artifact, there might be some mysteries or some stories linked with that, but you cannot open it. You open it, you destroy it. So the technology of Professor Seals is supposed to answer this kind of needs.
Led by Dr. Brent Seals, researchers in the Vis Center at the University of Kentucky have been developing a hardware and software system for the virtual unwrapping and visualization of ancient texts.
Technical means we're using to try to enhance these digitizations is really a mixture between 3D imaging, multi-spectral imaging, and high-resolution camera system. My name is Lowell Pike. I'm an IT manager at the University of Kentucky in the Laboratory for Advanced Networking. Academia Sinica has an exciting collection in their archives of manuscripts and maps, oracle bones. They have Chinese court records on bamboo slats. They have imperial court records from the Yuan, Ming, and Qing dynasty, and all of them are in excellent condition, and they're exciting pieces to work on and to digitize.
We're talking about manuscripts that are valued by humanities scholars who have no real way to solve the technical problems. So then we bring in computer science experts and imaging experts who can start to solve those technical problems. And the marriage of those two things is dynamite.
My name is Ryan Bauman. I'm a researcher for the Vis Center, and I'm working with multi-spectral imaging of documents. So this is a 40 megapixel camera, so it gives you a high resolution photograph, but it also is different than most digital cameras in that it doesn't have a color filter on it. So you get much better color resolution as well, because what a normal color camera does is it has to filter out each pixel into either red, green, or blue, and then interpolate the colors afterwards. And for our camera system, because we have no filter, we get the red, green, and blue for every single pixel. So we've got a much higher color resolution than a normal camera.
I do think it's incredibly important to work internationally and also to work interdisciplinary, because the disciplines that are required to do the kinds of things that we're doing go well beyond one thing. Science only, not going to work. Computer science only, not going to work. Need to have a collaborative team that represents all of the disciplines that are stakeholders in the kinds of objects that we're dealing with.
Yeah, the collaboration with Academia Sinica has been really beneficial for both sides. We have some software and some expertise in imaging and digitizing damaged items and manuscripts, and they have an excellent collection. And they have a great research team and a research university. It's been beneficial for both sides.
While examples of early Chinese writing, as well as the technology for recording it, have been preserved, they are fragile and only able to be viewed by a few people. The purpose of the collaboration between TELDAP and researchers from the University of Kentucky is to digitally preserve large-scale, hand-drawn maps, as well as valuable, damaged manuscripts from court records of dynastic China.
One asks the question, why bother? Why does it make any difference? Well, first of all, those materials are limited. There aren't going to be any more of them. We have what we have. And so if we can discover things within the collections we have that give us more information about that period, it gives us a new insight on the human experience, new insight on what actually went on in that period for which we can't have any more information.
I think the history is by definition is like the map to geography. So we want to know the past, we need to know where we come from. And history provides the clue for us. So history is a kind of concrete, the events we need to know.
What was there hundreds of years ago or 1,000 years ago? How did the people live? What was the situation? Why they didn't survive? Was there anything? Has something happened? If they had this, well, the history will be different. Before all these digital technologies, the past is past. One does not have opportunity to somehow realize this kind of question, that we cannot ask this kind of question. By digitizing the contents, the whole of the culture, we had a better opportunity to be able to understand the history of the past, and we'll feel more affinity to the history of the past. So the mankind will have a better sense of continuity, and you feel more akin to your culture, to your own kind, to your people. I suppose this is kind of spirit we need to cope with the challenges we had in the 21st century altogether.
By getting more information about a period that's gone by, we can learn about the trajectory of history, and learning from that helps us understand our future.
I think most significantly that the digitized object will give more possibilities, that the history can be live again. And then in the future generation, they could explore different kind of possibilities and will inspire them again. And by having this as an exemplar, we hope that we could persuade even more valuable contents to join the project, and will be able to explore more mysteries.
When things are written on, reused, so they're written on multiple times, it's really hard to separate what was from before and what was from after.
In this library collection, we have some books printed on old official documents, and the original binding is in very good condition. So we have decided not to tear that apart. So Dr. Seal's techniques will help us to find out what the contents of the old documents on the book pages.
So if you're interested in the problem of teasing out the book inside the book, right? The writing from before and reading that separately from the writing that came after, then you have to have a way to solve that problem technically. So we're working on a way through clever use of lighting, interesting applications of the camera situation to be able to solve that problem. The map collection is really unique because it contains a variety of maps, forms, materials, colors, inks, that span a period of history that's quite wide, but in a narrow geographical region.
The first modern set of topographic map was made by Japanese. After 1895, when Taiwan occupied by Japan for 50 years, they began to kind of manage the whole socio-economic things, and they got to have a map first. So they created the modern set of a map.
So you'd love to be able to put together all of those different samples, if you will, of the geography into some kind of unified collection. Can't be done physically, right? Because all of the materials are different, all of the formats are different. But digitally, you can imagine aligning all of those maps and then looking through them in a completely novel way so that you can get information across the pieces of the maps rather than from any individual one. But beyond that, you have some physical problems. These maps have been folded, they've been crumpled. It's not easy to flatten them out. So when you take a photograph of them, the photo isn't going to be something you can naturally align with something like a satellite image, which is it might be what you would want to do if you're going to understand those maps in a modern context. So there's a technological problem of taking out all of that distortion so that the alignment then is possible, and that's the kind of thing that we're exploring.
After returning to Kentucky from Taiwan, the EDUS team will complete the analysis by processing the 3D data points with the image files, virtually flattening maps, and building a flattened collection to be used by partners for registration. The data from the pigment chemistry will be analyzed to determine if virtual unwrapping via micro-CT is an option for the damaged manuscripts in the collection. The goal is to make immediate progress and prepare for future collaborations.
When we look back on this era, I imagine we'll see the start of a completely new way of thinking about all of these materials. In the past, we may have thought about them as being interesting museum pieces, but really irrelevant to modern, postmodern scholarship, everyday life. I think digitization releases them from the constraint of inaccessibility. And because of that, what you're going to find out is, as we look back, we're going to just be really thankful for the transition into the place where these things are now available. We can read them, we can know what they say.
Combining the technical strengths of the Vis Center team with the cultural knowledge and goals of Academia Sinica creates the opportunity to develop new technology while at the same time preserving ancient history.
We believe that this digitizing project will help the continuity of our history, 23 million of them in Taiwan, as well as help our generation to come to have a broadened up their mind to have broader view of the history in the past. And we believe this kind of idea can help the whole world as a whole.